What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. If it wasn't enough to get this 240Z finished and we have to do it again, I'll explain everything right now. Let's get into today's video. Alright guys, so this is my baby, the orange beast. And obviously as you've been following the channel, we had replaced this motor. Obviously that 480 was all tired out and we went up to a 6 liter. And you know what, not to be, bad, I was, let's go ahead and replace the motor. Brand new crate motor, 6 liter, have it be done, right? So that happened. Put the motor in, make sure everything was running good. We started seeing some smoke come out, the tailpipe here on this side. And my only thing was like, why is it smoky? I thought maybe one of the turbo seals was bad, thinking that maybe that's why it was passing oil, because you wouldn't see any like smoke on this bank, but it was coming out of this bank. So I was like, you know what, maybe it's a turbo seal. Check the oil, everything was good. Maybe put 20 miles on this thing, and finally it started smoking really bad. And once I pulled out the dipstick, I already pretty much drained it. I don't know if it's gonna show here, but it was pretty much milkiness, therefore telling us that we have a head gasket problem. And you would say a head gasket problem on a brand new motor, head gasket problem. So I think when they put the motor together, something missed, or maybe the heads weren't machined right. But so now we're gonna have to take off the top end of the motor, redo the head gaskets, and then at that point figure out what the issue is with the smoke and how water is getting into that bank. So let's tear it apart. All right guys, so I pretty much already done this so many damn times. Went ahead and removed all the intake bolts that go here. Took off all the injector, the top fuel rails. Make sure you disconnect everything. Got the fuel line here, coil pack, harness, and put this thing out. Alright, let's put her over here and see what we got here. If we see anything on top, this one right here, actually, Luis, take a look at that. So if you see on this intake port, this is the only one that looks kind of funky, and you see coolant there. Why would you see coolant? Everything else is clean. So maybe what's going on is that this intake valve is sucking up from the head gasket, sucking coolant through here, and then obviously burning it, and that's what's causing the smoke. So we found the problem. So we're gonna continue taking valve covers, everything apart, exhaust manifold, pull this apart, get these heads off. Luis says he'll probably get this done tonight with my help. So
be done by tomorrow morning.
And we're actually going to upgrade these head bolts and put some head studs. That would be a little bit better, more pressure against us, especially with boost. At it again, third time is the charm with swapping this motor. So, and with all your projects. So comment below if you think your project's done and something always finds its way to happen and it's not done. I'm sure there's plenty of stories of that, but let's take this thing off. Alright guys, so we went ahead and got the car up on the lift. We're gonna go ahead and remove the headers, which is obviously a lot harder when it's inside the car. As you remember, when it was off before, we just go ahead and unbolt them, but now on the car is a different story. But I think we've done it plenty of times to know how to get this thing off. One more time. Now we proceed to take off the valve covers. Now that I got the header bolts loose, should be able to come out. Look at that. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see here. There goes all the bolts. All the milky of all the oil and everything mixing. Alright, now that we got the valve covers off, we're gonna go ahead and proceed and take off the rocker arms. What we're doing now, we're pretty much kind of getting them all loose, breaking them loose because they're torqued, and then we can use the gun to spin everything off. What we like to do just kind of keeps it organized. You can get your cardboard, get the driver's side, mark it, so you can put the rocker arms exactly how everything came out. So that way. That's how the engine was assembled. That's how everything was aligned. Just a better installation when you put everything back. Just a little tip that we use instead of like putting them on the bag and then you know what came out of what. But we'll proceed with this side. And we'll knock that side out. Alright, so I pretty much already did the other side. We're gonna go ahead and do this side, knock it out. Alright, now that we went ahead and took off pretty much all the rocker arms on both sides, the next is going to be the head bolts. So you have your upper top head bolts there. You have your bolts in the middle. And I believe you have another bolt at the bottom here that's underneath by the headers. We're going to try to get this turbo and headers out of here. That'll give us more space so we can take it off. Obviously the steam port will take that off as well. And hopefully have these heads off here pretty quick. Alright guys, so I went ahead and took the heads off. We're gonna go send them off to machine shop to make sure that pressure tested and see what occurred with the head gasket issue. If it was either maybe when they assembled it was not torqued right, or if there's a crack in the head. But there's no physical, damage that you can see. But I'm just gonna go ahead and send them off. We got good old Tom picking them up here, taking them over to Conquest to get them machined and checked. So hopefully we get them back, they're good to go, and get them back on the vehicle. All right, now that we got the heads back from the machine shop, just to make sure there was no like MagnaFlux, any cracks or anything that was unvisual, during the time of the head gasket issue. But I think we ended up knowing that the bolts were loose on the heads, causing that head gasket. But we went ahead and send it off to get remachined. The head, so you can see, is perfectly nice and flat before it goes in. They checked the valves, they made sure that everything was seating properly. Obviously got them all cleaned up, and I mean, they were brand new. They only had 20 miles, so it should have been good, but they just made sure everything was resurfaced, pressure checked everything. We also went ahead and cleaned up the surface. That's what you want to do before you put the head on. Make sure kind of resurface, clean the area where the new head gasket's gonna go before you go ahead and put it. So got our new head gasket here. This is a thick, like 5-layer gasket that we got. And also what we're gonna be using, instead of the regular head bolts, we're gonna be doing head studs that I believe are gonna be a lot better. They're gonna hold the pressure on the motor or on the head itself, especially with the turbo. So we're gonna put the head on. Luis is gonna put it together. We'll have it running in about 15 minutes. Right, Luis? 15 minutes?
15 minutes before
Why are you struggling?
midnight.
Why are you struggling?
It's
They're
heavy.
aluminum.
It's heavy.
They're fucking aluminum, Luis. What's going on? Come on now. Sure you line it up. Uh-oh.
There you go.
And there they are. So basically, now that we have that head on, we're gonna obviously make sure we torque it. We can put all the rockers, pretty much all the parts that we took off on this side, we have it all done. I mean, hopefully this is the last time, third time's the charm, I guess that's what they say. But last time we have this taken apart for any reason, other than if I blow it up again, but no, we're not, all right? One thing I noticed before we put the heads on is that I had painted the block, as you remember in the second video, and I think after they machined it or tested it, they put like a paint on it, which obviously doesn't match. So might as well, I'm gonna go ahead and scuff the heads, get them scuffed up and paint them to match the block, which is like a duplicate, like aluminum heat engine enamel. So while they're here, I'll go ahead and paint them, let them dry, and then later, after they're dry, then we can start the assembly process on this. Alright, now that the heads have dried and are ready to install, we went ahead and pulled out and got the printout from ARP for the head studs. So instead of using the head bolts that I had before, we're going to be running boost too. Might as well, came to this conclusion, that might as well put these heavy duty ARP head studs. So pretty much after reading, there's a sequence to the head of what needs to be bolted. Pretty much these are gonna be the bolts that'll go into this location here. You go ahead and tighten them all the way down till you get to its stops. It has like a little hex, I don't know if you see it here. Tighten it a little bit more and that'll be pretty much done. From there you lubricate the threads on this and the nut, and then you proceed to do the torque sequence on the head itself. So we're gonna start with this head. Mataosos is gonna go ahead and kill this side of the head, and then we'll move to the other side. Alright guys, seeing that we already put the other head, we're going to go ahead and put this head on. But it's been sitting here for a little bit while we were waiting, and it has an old kind of dirty gasket material on there. So we're going to go ahead and use something that's not very abrasive, just kind of like a cleanup wheel to clean this up before we lay the new gasket. So I went ahead and got the head gasket here, went ahead and prepped that all out, and we're gonna put the head gasket. Let me show you guys how it looks. All cleaned up. So that's all nice. So we'll get head gasket go on, then I can put the head on, and we'll start putting the ARP studs. Alright guys, so we got the head, everything all cleaned up, and drop her in. You have to follow the guide. So, let's see. Alright, so we have all the ARP studs here. You can go ahead and start by putting the top ones. Now we can put the other head studs, which are the bigger ones, down the middle and on the bottom there. Alright, now that they're all on, Luis is going to go ahead and put a little bit of the thread fastener assembly on all of them and get everything torqued down to spec and all the sequence that we need to get this done.
2,000 years later.
Alright guys, so we're back. We've been putting a lot of hours on the Datsun, getting everything put together. We had to pull it out where it was and get it up on the lift here. As you can see, we already pretty much put the turbo on, finished putting the heads, manifolds. Right now we're finishing up the wiring, get some fluid in this thing, and finish a couple connections that we had to connect, little upgrades that we had to change over while we were out. And then hopefully, like I always tease Mataosos, today's the day.
Today is the day.
The day has come. I guess again, this is the real thing of like third time's a charm, which I hope is true, because we fixed this and rebuilt this, and this is the third time now. So we built it beefier, so we should be good to go. So we should be ready for Fast and the Furious, you know, the new Fast and Furious movie ready to come. So hopefully we're good to go. Alright, looks like we finished everything. Ready, so we're gonna try the initial start, see what she does. Fire! Oh, there it is, come on. She's alive! Alright guys, she's finally up and running. I'm so excited. Finally, I should be able to drive her. So back to, recap. Motor was on fire. fixed the wiring, got it up and running. Motor blew, swapped the motor. Motor was bad, did the head gasket. So now we should be good to go. Like I said, third time's a charm. So we're gonna be taking her to the track. So I'm gonna break her in, we'll be taking her to the track soon. So I'll have a track video on this and maybe some of the other cars we're gonna take to the track day with Resto Mods, which is gonna be awesome. Maybe do the rematch for TJ. Clutch should be good to go, so TJ be ready. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that notification button for new up-to-date videos. Subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you. Here at SOS Customs, we got you covered. Peace.